Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel where I will be doing a review of video games that I have played. I'll be giving you my honest thoughts and opinions on the game, whether or not you should play the game or not, and most importantly, whether the game is worth the price or not. The first game that I will be reviewing is called Totally Reliable Delivery Service. This game is developed by Were 5 Games. The genres of this game are casual, indie, and party. This game is both on the Epic Game Store and Steam, along with it being on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One as of April 1st, 2020. As of 2025, it is also available on PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and you can get a physical copy of the game for PS5 and Nintendo Switch. The base game on all platforms costs $14.99. Now, I ended up getting this game for free on Epic Games as one of their free games of the week, so take that into consideration in this review. Don't worry, I will be giving my honest opinion on whether I think it's worth buying the game or not later on in this video. Now, there is a deluxe version as well. The price of the deluxe edition ranges from about $23 to $27 depending on what platform or game launcher you buy it from. It's a pretty standard deluxe edition compared to other games. It comes with a few extra locations, those being Cyberpunk and stunt sets, along with the dress code DLC, which pretty much just unlocks a bunch of new cosmetics. By a bunch, I mean over 80. At least on PC, you can buy these DLCs individually too if you wanted to, along with some other DLCs. There's a DLC called Mascot Mayhem, which as of this recording has not been released yet, but it looks like a pretty big add-on. It includes 15 new skins along with 5 multiplayer events and 10 new delivery missions. So it does look like We Are 5 Games is really investing into this game, at least from the DL side of things. Now on to the game itself. Totally Reliable Delivery Service is a game where you deliver packages to different locations throughout the map. The faster you complete the delivery, the more money you get. It has a local, an online option where you can create your own party or join others, and a quick join option where you can play with up to 4 people. The online option is what I used to play. You can customize how many people are able to join your party, a max of 4. It has ragdoll physics, so you can expect pretty wonky and goofy movement in the game. A big thing nowadays in games is skins and cosmetics. This game has it. Even without buying any of the DLCs, there are so many customization options you can apply to your character. However, if you're looking to go for a completely new outfit outside of the default outfit, even if you customize it, you are going to have to buy a DLC pack, unfortunately. This doesn't bother me personally. I think you can customize your character to your liking with the same amount of customization options they do give you without needing to go and buy any of the add-ons for extra skins. There is a tutorial for this game, so if you are someone who kind of wants to get an idea on how the game works or how the controls are, there is a tutorial. The recruiting wizard in the tutorial wasn't very helpful. All he said was how I can change my control scheme. The tutorial steps were on posters on the side of the walls, so even though I was doing the tutorial step that was asked, I had to be within a certain area of the poster to unlock the door for the next step, which I didn't end up knowing until I completed the first step. The second step, something did pop up with written instructions telling me what I was supposed to do. I'm not 100% sure on why the first step didn't have that, or it was some sort of bug. Now, there was one part of the tutorial that it required me to fart. Yes, it required me to fart to go to the next part. Later when I was playing, I randomly farted and I still don't know what I did or didn't do to do that specific action. How are you going to have a control in the tutorial that you can't do, let alone it doesn't even have a designated keybind function when you go into the settings to edit your binds? Maybe this is a skill issue on my part, but after about 15 minutes of trying, I gave up on the tutorial since I couldn't complete that task and just hopped into the game. Now, the actual game. Note, I did play this with one of my friends, so there were 2 of us playing, so take that into consideration in this review. So like I said earlier in the video, the main objective in this game is to deliver packages. When you go up to one of the delivery stations, which there are many throughout the map, You pull a lever and the package pops out. Then you take that package to the marked destination to deliver it. Once you deliver the package, you get money. You can use the money to unlock new areas where you can go to do more deliveries or unlock vehicles, which I will talk about in a little bit. Depending on how you do on your deliveries depends how much money you get. There are two ways the deliveries are categorized, and those are by speed and how damaged the package is. There's 3 tiers: gold, silver, and bronze. Completing the delivery and getting gold gives you the most money, silver a little bit of money, and bronze barely gives you any money. Now some deliveries are very simple and you can carry the package a short distance to the delivery drop-off, while others are a much farther distance away and require you to use a vehicle. This game has a wide variety of vehicles, from airport luggage type vehicles to forklifts to trucks. This game has even helicopters, planes, and different types of boats. There is no shortage of vehicles and a variety of vehicles in the game. You don't necessarily need to use the vehicles just to deliver packages either. Like almost any other game with vehicles, you can simply drive them around to explore the map or get to a certain location. Now, some of the deliveries will require you to use a certain vehicle in order to get its package to the destination. The game does a solid job spawning the vehicle right next to the package, so you don't have to scramble around to find the right vehicle for the job or have to bring a vehicle with you at all times. As much as the vehicles are very helpful, in most instances, one of the biggest problems with the game is related to the vehicles. The ability to maneuver and use the controls for the vehicles is very inconsistent and janky. This comes from a bigger problem with the arm movement, which I will discuss later in this video, and what I think is the main issue for the game. Some vehicles are easier to control than others. Mostly the road and water vehicles are fine. You just have to adjust how you drive and can't go full pedal to the metal. The air vehicles is where this is a big issue. It is extremely hard to control, making it almost impossible to fly, and when you are able to fly for the majority of the time, it seems like you end up flying in one direction, whether that is in a straight line or flying to the left or to the right without being able to turn the other way. Now, like I said, this stems from a bigger issue in the game, but before we get into that, let's talk about the rest of the game and gameplay. I want to talk about the graphics before I get into the meat and potatoes of the game. The graphics in the game are pretty solid. Nothing super spectacular, but they aren't awful either. Most of the buildings are very detailed and well thought out. When you unlock a new area, it gives you a little B-roll of the area that you have just unlocked, which is good because you're able to see the landscape of the area before you go ahead and explore it. You can definitely tell they put a lot of effort and details into how the graphics look to make the game look visually appealing no matter where you are on the map. Except maybe the grass, since most of the grass is either brown or orange, but I do think the graphics are really good for a not so big developer. Now onto the game itself, which is where we get some of the flaws with the game. Before we get into some of the flaws, I want to discuss some of the other stuff in this game. If you don't want to deliver packages, each area has a few mini games. Not related to delivering packages at all, just straight mini party games. Some of the mini games give you a reward for completing it while others don't. It's something entertaining enough to keep you on the game and a refresh from delivering packages. Now, I'm not sure how fun these mini games would be if you were playing this game alone, but if you are playing them with some friends, it's a must. The map is pretty big. You definitely need to use the vehicles in order to get to different locations, whether that's by car, boat, or plane. There are also collectibles, which I'm not gonna lie, aren't really anything special. The collectibles require you to go through a blue ring, and your reward for doing that is money. Now, while the gameplay is fine, there is a big problem with the controls. The main controls, which revolve around you moving your arms, are super inconsistent and buggy at times. Being able to use your arms is 95% of this game. You need it to be able to grab and hold on to packages, be able to raise your arms and operate vehicles. And when a main or big component for functioning in the game isn't functioning properly, whether that's due to a bug or it's just poorly optimized, it's a very big issue. I had many issues while playing revolving around using the hand grabbing or raising arms mechanic, and it got to a point where it became frustrating since it wouldn't work so often, and the frustration made me not want to play. It also made it extremely hard to drive some of the vehicles, especially the boat or helicopter, since you needed both hands to maneuver those vehicles. And when one hand was working and the other wasn't, you'd end up just flying around in a circle or straight up in the air. Look, I know the game has ragdoll movement, but I never had any other issues with the movement outside of the issues with the arms and hands. A big thing I noticed when I was playing is that there really isn't any direction in this game. Yes, it's pretty much an open world, but even games similar to that have some sort of goal or objective you're following throughout the game while playing. This game does not. There's a goal to deliver a certain amount of packages in each area or packages in total, but you don't end up unlocking more difficult deliveries. There's a whole progress tab to show what you have unlocked, but like how other games have an objective that is being tracked, this game does not have that. The only time you ever unlock stuff was just new locations from the money you got from deliveries. You weren't unlocking more difficult deliveries in order to earn more money or vehicles. Now, this isn't a problem if you're playing locally, but if you're playing online, there is a high chance that when you're playing, you will freeze and get kicked out of the game. It happened multiple times to me where my game would freeze and after a few minutes, I would be kicked out of the lobby. I know this isn't my Wi-Fi either because I have fiber internet and had no other connection issues on my PC. Not only that, when I went to rejoin my friend, his name wouldn't even appear online, even though he was still in the game, making me or both of us have to fully restart our games in order to join back up in the same game. Overall, I really did enjoy this game to an extent. I enjoyed my time playing it, having many funny moments and a solid time playing. I think personally, when I started to get bored and tired of this game, it wasn't necessarily from the repetition of the game, which was delivering the packages, but it was more from the game mechanics itself. The issues with the arms and hands got to a point where my friend and I couldn't even play the game how it was supposed to because the issue kept popping up almost every time we tried to use that function, which was very annoying and made delivering packages take way longer than it should have taken. The issues with the mechanics does give a sour taste to what I thought was a pretty decent game. The randomness of some of the objects combined with the ragdoll movement made this a very wonky and chaotic, but in a good way for the most part. If you are looking for a game that has progression, especially if the progression is being tracked for a final main goal, this game is not it. It does have a progress bar, but you aren't progressing towards a bigger completion outside of just 100%ing the game. Now, would I buy this game? Personally, I wouldn't buy this game at full or even if it was on sale. If they are able to fix the major issues with the arms and hand mechanics, I would personally still say it's not worth buying at full price. It might be worth it if it was on sale depending on if you like this style of genre for a game, or especially if you are going to be playing it with friends. If this game is free, I mean, you can't go wrong with free games. You might as well claim it and test the game out for yourself, and honestly, I would 100% recommend it if it is free and you are gonna play it with a few friends. Would I get this game if I was playing solo? Personally, I wouldn't. Unless you're super into these type of open world simulator type games, I wouldn't, no matter if it was full price, on sale, or free. This game seems like it would personally be best if you were to play with people you know or game with due to its party style and ability to just fully goof around the game without affecting any sort of progress in the game. That is my final thoughts, opinions, and review on totally reliable delivery service. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. If you have played this game before, let me know in the comments if you like this game or not. And if you haven't, let me know if you'd be interested in, potentially playing the game. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos, especially my next game review video. And I will see you guys in the next video.